If you could pull this move off that I'm about to show you, you pretty much have the most powerful attack in your arsenal. Now, a few things to this move is that it takes a long time, and when I say a long time, it just means maybe like half a second, because fighting is a game of inches, just like what they say in football. But if you can pull this move off, oh my goodness, there's so much force in it that I guarantee you, you might put someone through the hospital. Alright guys, what's going on? My name's Chris. Welcome back to Sicat Kickboxing Club. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so yet and you've been following the channel for a while, please subscribe, hit this like button only if you're getting value out of it. Also, comment down below on what you think of these videos, give me some feedback and what you'd like to see for the future. And also, I also run a podcast, martial arts podcast, which you could really get good value out of it because I talk to high-level martial artists, from pros from the UFC, from regular practitioners to just your everyday hobbyists. So go check that out, show links down below. And yeah, let's get right into it, guys. So this move, listen, I've never been the type to turn my back on someone, okay? And what I mean by that is in fighting, like I'm talking about the spinning stuff. Like it could be the spinning elbow, it could be a spinning back kick, right? My coach always told me that, and it's always stuck with me because in a fight, it's the most crucial consequences that you're ever gonna face if your eye isn't on the prize. So you have to have your eyes on them the whole time, or at least the way I like it. I know you'll have those fancy, flashier fighters that, you know, kind of put their hands down and just are really, really bladed to where they're showing their back. And hey, look, that's their style and they perfected it and they've been going at it for a while. If someone's doing that, they're really confident in themselves and that means they've been doing it for years. Or they haven't been doing it for years and they're just doing whatever looks good to them, and then all of a sudden they get knocked out. But anyway, back when like I was sparring a lot for competition, I'd fight different fighters, right? So every Saturday we'd have what's called like an open mat kind of sparring, and then we'd get all gyms, people from all gyms to come in those open mats. And what that does is that it gets people from all over with different styles from different gyms, which was great. That's why I love fighting in the first place, because to me, fighting is a true expression of yourself. So without going too much on a tangent, when I coach someone, one of my, say private clients or students, I tell them that I love fighting and they should too, because it's an expression of yourself. Meaning that even if I coach you how to do one thing, say if I coach you how to do a jab or how to do your footwork or anything, you're gonna make it your own regardless of what I tell you. A lot of the things that I tell you, you'll take with you, but some of it you won't, because it's just not part of your style. Maybe it won't work along with your body, right? Like some basics won't, I guess, click in your head as much as another move will. So I always tell fighters, like, look man, what I coach isn't the end all be all. Take what you like of what I say and the basic principles of just fighting in general and just add it to your arsenal. So anyway, back to the most powerful tool that you could use is that when we used to fight, there was a lot of like karate guys, and I know they get a lot of flack, but when used right in MMA, oh, you could do a lot of damage with it. And then it's not just for karate, it's taekwondo as well, that kind of style. So what I'm gonna be showing you today is a spinning back kick. When we were sparring, when I get hit with these and they land it right, because again, they bait me into it and I'd fall for it. Like say they do a feint, right? They turn around and then I wouldn't fall for it. And then they throw a punch to disguise it and then throw the spinning back kick and it'll fool me. Oh my goodness. If they hit me in the ribs or dare I say, the liver, because that's the worst spot I think you could possibly get hit in. Man, it is just so much force that you get taken back and literally the wind gets knocked out of you, and it's hard to make a poker face after that because you still have 2 minutes in the round and all of a sudden you're just hurting, and then you're trying to keep your guard up at the same time with making this face that like you can't even fake anymore because you're hurting so bad. So today I'm gonna show you how to do that spinning back kick with a lot of force. A lot of you guys that follow martial arts have seen the Joe Rogan's spinning back side kick because he used to take Taekwondo. Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's, if you watch that video, go look it up on YouTube, it's everywhere. He does a spinning back kick on the bag and that bag literally bends. Like, it's ridiculous to see. And that's when I had the epiphany of, I don't like to turn my back on people, but it's always good to have in your toolbox to do. So let's get right into it. This move that I'm gonna show you is actually from the UFC pro fighter Khalil Roundtree. He just fought Alex Pereira. He's gonna fight pretty soon. And he was coaching at the gym that I train at, and he was showing me how to do this his way. There's gonna be different types of back kicks. Like, there's the turnaround and then jumping one, kind of like a Taekwondo style, but that's not my specialty. So I never show anything that I don't do, right? Or I haven't done. I'll never show anything that's theoretical to me. I'll always show something that's tried and true and that's worked out for me. So again, this is from Khalil Roundtree, the famous Thai fighter, UFC fighter. So if you look at this bag, I'm gonna show you just like the spinning elbow, right? What you're gonna do is that you're going to, say if you're orthodox right here, your front foot is lead, your left front foot is lead. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to step this foot here. It's gonna be 2 steps. I'm gonna step this foot here to come right here, okay? Notice that I got my back completely pretty much turned to them. Hence, that's why I say I don't like to turn my back because, well, I have my back turned to them and there's only a few attacks that I can do. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The whole point when you fight, and even in jiu-jitsu and grappling, is to take their back, like literally take your back, right? That's why you try to get angles on someone so that, say if someone takes an angle on me and then they're over here facing my arm, well, they're almost to my back. They almost got my back. So that's the whole concept, if you didn't know. All right, so back to it. What I'm gonna do is a 2-step process, is that I'm going to turn right a little bit, and look, my heel, make this a point of where you're at for the first step. My heel is going to be turned right here, right? Facing the bag, okay? You see that? It's gonna be here, facing the bag, over here, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is just pretty much lift this leg back, okay? So here's the caveat to it too, is that your head should always be facing that opponent and never back here, okay? Even though my body is turned back against the bag like this, my head is never turned here because I always want to look for my opponent just in case. Now, I know that's a very general kind of statement to make, but you'd be surprised because naturally when your body turns back, right? If I spin, well, my body's gonna turn this way and then I'm gonna be looking this way. But it has to be instinctual for you to be always looking at your opponent and never have your back turned to them, okay? Hence, again, that's the reason why I don't like my back turned. That's why I don't do these moves too often, only when I know there's a high hit rate. If they're tired or if they're inexperienced, less inexperienced than me, if I'm in competition and I know that, there's just certain situations. So when I turn my back, when I spin and then my heel is against my back, I'm going to turn my head here. You see that? Just in case my opponent tries to move forward, then I can adjust and maybe turn back around, okay? Just in case. I always emphasize the fact that you always have to stay protected, and this is one of the ways to stay protected, is to be looking at your opponent at all times. So when I turn, here's the first step, look, I'm looking here, and now, look, I'm going to look back here because I'm gonna be kicking with this now dominant leg. Look how loaded it is. Look how loaded it is because it's the leg now that has more distance to hit the bag. You see that? Because if I was to hit with this leg, it doesn't have much of a power because it's that close. This leg is already loaded, okay? So my back is turned here. Look, before I kick, I'm going to, or while I kick, I'm going to turn here. Look at my head. See, I'm always looking at the opponent, and then I'm gonna kick like that. Now, again, guys, there's different kinds of kicks, okay? This is just what I've been taught by Khalil Roundtree, all right? This is how he does it, and it's very, very powerful. Because I guess you could say it's more of a spinning heel kick than it is a spinning like side kick, right? They're two different things. But this one I found to be more powerful actually than like the spinning side kick. I guess depending on who you do it, but that's just my subjective point of view. So again, here, we'll break it down into two steps. You're literally going to spin here where your back heel is facing the bag now. You're completely have your back pretty much turned, and then look, I'm always looking at the opponent, look back, right there, okay? It's like a horse kick. It's pretty much like a horse kick, you know, now that I think about it. Look, it's that, okay? You're not like turning around and then side kick them like this. That's a whole different thing. I'm showing you what I know what to do and what's the most powerful spinning back kick I've ever seen, because you're literally horse kicking them like a horse. There's so much impact into it. So I'll do it again. So we're going to spin back. Look, my heel, this is your point of reference, is that your heel is turned to them, now turned to them, and now I'm gonna use now my back foot here to kick like a horse, okay? And always be looking at your opponent. Even when I turn here, I'm looking at him. You see that? And I always try to kick with my heel and not my full foot, you know, like a teep. Like I always get them with this part of my foot because quite frankly, it just hurts more, okay? So I'll do it like 40%, right? I'll do it like a little bit in slow-mo, but in real time. So again, look at the steps. Heel back, look. You see that? Now, the thing about this move, the other caveat about this move is that you're lined up straight, okay? You're lined up straight to them. It's not that, it's kind of hard to take an angle on this kick because look, you're lining up your heel here and then you're lining up, you're in a straight line with them to hit the bag, right? You're literally lined up. So with this move in particular, since your back is turned to them, I don't do it like fancy. I don't do it in a fancy way because number one, I'm already in like almost defense mode because I got my back turned to them. So I don't want to add that extra step of an angle. You could, but personally for me, if I'm doing a powerful, I guess you could say flashy move, just like this, just like a spinning back kick, which I don't do too often, I'm just gonna keep it nice and basics. And again, guys, basics are pretty much 95% of what you're gonna do. You don't need to add anything more as long as you could bait them into it, right? You don't need to add anything more flashy, like you don't need to add a double spin or anything like that. Yeah, just keep the move basic. So again, I'll go through it again. Boom, spin, heel back. That's your reference point. Keep looking at your opponent, okay? And then when you're going in for the kick at the same time, your head is going to look back at the opponent so you know where you're kicking and you know where your opponent is at, okay? There's so much force to this kick, all right? So here, I'm gonna turn back, just like that, all right? So again, here, you see that? I like this kick because you can adjust as well. The other thing is to it is that even though you don't have the distance over here, right? You could still do it from here and get a lot of force with your knee bent, okay? Like you could get a lot of force, but if you're in like maximum range of your opponent, right? Say you do a teep, you're kind of gauging them a little bit. And then when you do the spinning back kick, right? So you're gauging them with kicks, okay? That's my distance. Now you can get a lot of range out of this kick here, and then look, I get a lot of range out of that. But again, if you're doing it, if you're not in range, you could still do it, okay? All you have to do is bend your knee. So same thing, look back, bend your knee a little bit, and then kick them back like that. And man, like it's one thing when I do the move, right? And if you do it again with the proper technique, you can get a lot of damage with that. But when you see a guy that's perfected the move, like Khalil Roundtree, the guy that showed me the move from the UFC, which again, he fought Alex Pereira. I just want to mention that because I want you to know how much of a high level, when you're dealing with a high level guy like that, I mean, your techniques have to be on point. And when he does the spinning back kick, dude, it's perfection. It's perfection. He literally hits him where he desires to hit him, meaning it's like pinpoint accuracy. On a spinning back kick, you're literally spinning, and then there's so much going on with this move, right? Because look, you see, there's so much. You have your back turned, and then you have to point your heel and all that. But like anything else, it gets very effortless when you keep doing it over and over. And again, guys, that's my basic principles to do any move. Just keep repping it out, but don't rep it out just like you're on autopilot, just going through the motions. Really think about your body dexterity and how you're moving your body to be as technical as you can, because a lot of strength doesn't come from how strong you actually are. It does matter, but it doesn't come from how strong you are. It comes from your technique. When I hit someone with a leg kick with 30% power, it hurts him every time. Number one, because I hit him at the same point of the leg. That's technique as well. And number two, I just have the fluid motions down of getting the kick right and not actually putting power to it, okay? So guys, work on that breakdown, take it into 2 steps, break it down into 2 steps, and then put it all together. Again, I want to make this very, very clear that I like to keep you protected at all times. Always look at your opponent when you're doing these spinning back kicks, just so you know, okay? Otherwise, if you can't do that, don't do it at all, because my job is for you to be protected in your sparring matches, but at the same time to have the tenacity to go after your opponent. All right, so I'll see you on the next one, guys. Again, subscribe and like these videos. I really enjoy doing these videos. I've been coaching for decades, and yeah, look out for my coaching course that I'm going to do based on just the basics of kickboxing, which relates into self-defense, to practical, real-world self-defense. Okay, not that fake shit. Pardon my French. All right, guys, see you on the next one.